everyone. It's Randy Nunes, your host on Between the Chalk Lines. It's all baseball talk all the time. Podcasts on YouTube. You can listen on Buzzsprout website, www.betweenthechalklines.com. The podcast is there. All of the episodes. You listen to everyone. And I just want to remind that the November giveaway is the 2024 Luis Angel Acuna um, Statue of Liberty short print kind of insert. It's not really super short print, but go to Instagram if you find this card, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please, and thank you. Like the photo, comment, done, and you're in. If you're already subscribed, great, thank you. I appreciate it. The big number that we're trying to break this year, 2025, is 100. So 100 subscribers. I know it's tiny, but for me, someone who's been going at this for 2 years now, officially yesterday was the first time I actually posted a episode for this show on November 6th, 2023. So today is November 7th. You'll be watching this or listening to this on the 8th. And we're just going to kind of dive into the beginnings of off-season baseball. World Series back in Los Angeles. It was there in 24. No, again in 25. Big thing. Qualifying offers. I could go into a huge list of options that either players didn't pick up or teams didn't pick up. But the qualifying offer for 2025, I should say the 2026 season is $22.025 million. So basically just $22 million for 1 year. What happens if the player does not accept the qualifying offer and signs with another team? Is the team that gave the qualifying offer gets the signing team's, I think, second highest pick in the following draft, so the 2026 draft. Some teams are willing to give up that draft pick. I think they have a really good roster. And we're going to start off with the 13 players that were given a QO. We just call it QO. Kyle Schwarber had a 4.9 FWAR in 25 season, was given a QO by the Phillies as DH. So this is his walk year. He led the National League with 56 home runs and the majors with 132 RBIs. So that's a crazy 150 OPS plus over 162 games. So, yes, he did play the entire season, didn't miss a single game. Um, 4-year contract, 79 million with the Phillies. The only player who had more than Schwarber's 187 over those 4 years was obviously Aaron Judge. Um, and he hit 23 playoff home runs, Schwarber, as a DH. Again, at that say DH, he doesn't play in the field. He doesn't pitch like Otani. Um, so the Phillies said 1 year, 22 million, or another team reaches out and gives him an offer that he likes better, and we get a draft pick. So, I mean, it's kind of win-win in my opinion for the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, we just said 4 years, 79 million. That's about almost 20 million a year. This would be a tick over, about 2.5 ish over the average that he was getting yearly. So if he doesn't get a huge long-term contract, I mean, there's no hurt in taking 1 year and 22 million guaranteed. There's no, tricks. There's no strings attached. Just you're there for another year. So I don't think it's a bad option for Schwarber. Mind you, we are going from highest F4 to lowest F4. And the Phillies have more than one person they gave a qualifying offer to. So Cal Tucker is next. 4.5 F4 in 2025 season with the Cubs. I know it's kind of weird he's saying the Cubs and not Astros. He's only entering his age 29 season going into 2026. He had 145 OPS plus since the beginning of 2021. So consistent and consistently, I think, underappreciated. Posted his third 2020 season, 22 home run, 25 stolen bases. And again, 143 OPS plus over 136 games for the Cubs. This might be a one and done. I don't think he'll take the qualifying offer. I think there are a lot of teams, including the Astros, who need a lefty hitting outfielder, and there might be a reunion with the Astros Tucker. I think long shot reunion, but possible. I think there's I would say Yankees, Angels, if they give enough money, could use Cal Tucker. There are talks of trading Ward or Joey Dell. So he would kind of fit that right field hole if they trade Joey Dell. But I see at least 5 years for Cal Tucker. So the Cubs, sorry, I think you only had him for that one season. You got him last year from the Astros, and he's leaving this year from the Cubs. Rangers, Suarez, starting pitcher, F4 of 4.0 flat last year with the Phillies. Had a 3.39 ERA over 116 starts since joining the Phillies rotation in 2021. So that's the 13th best among Major League Baseball starters during that span with a minimum of 100 starts. So number 2, number 3 guy, playoff success, lifetime 1.48 ERA over 42 and 2/3 innings in the postseason. So proven playoff, basically all-star pitcher, and proven healthy and consistent. So Ranger Suarez, I think, will fetch a good amount of money and years, similar to the Shota Imanaga. He was just, his option was not picked up by the Cubs. I would say 6, maybe 7 years guaranteed by someone. Don't know who. I'd say every team except maybe the Dodgers need starting pitching, including the Phillies. So maybe the Phillies extend an offer if he denies or just outright says no thanks. By the way, these players named do need to make their decision by 4 Eastern on November 18th. So that's just, 11 days away, basically. Next, we have another starting pitcher, Framber Valdez, 4.0 FR last year. Probably the only true ace was extended a QO from the Astros. The lefty has a 3.23 ERA over 973 innings flat since 2020. High ground ball numbers, high strikeout numbers. He is not going back to Houston. Plain and simple. That's my prediction. Bo Bichette, almost World Series champion and almost World Series hero. 2025 F4 of 3.8. He had a injury plague season last year in 2024. Started the year looking like his old self. Not a ton of power, only 18 home runs, but a 311 average. So he's going to hit 94 RBIs and an 840 OPS, which is basically all-star numbers that you're looking at. So Bo Bichette, if he doesn't take the qualifying offer, I see the Jays extending a big contract for Bo Bichette. So that's my guess for Bichette. Next is Dylan Cease, the starting pitcher. 3.4 F4 in 2025. Consistent guy. You know, he is a right-hander, but doesn't make a ton of difference when you have a 33.8 whiff rate with a minimum of 1,000 swings. So guys are swinging and missing. That was just 2025, mind you. Fifth straight season with at least 200 strikeouts and 32 games started. So consistent. Dylan Cease, I think, will surprise some people. He might get more money and more years than Suarez and Valdez. I'm banking on a very, very, just team that's desperate. That's the word. Desperate team. I'm banking on a desperate team to overpay and overextend on Cease. Next is Trent Grisham, outfielder of the Yankees. Kind of one of those surprising guys to get a QO. But again, surprising guy this past season. So 34 homers, 74 RBIs, 82 walks, and an 812 OPS. Huge step up from his 22 to 24 seasons. But wasn't just a flash in the pan kind of season. I don't know. I'm not on the Trent Grisham train. Sorry. I don't believe that 2025 season was a season you can look at and say, we're going to get this every year for the next 5+ years. So he should take the $22 million and run. Stick with the Yankees for another year. Again, the Yankees have a great ball field for Grisham to hit in. Next two are Gleyber Torres, who I was very surprised by the Tigers, who only put a 2.6 F4 up last season. So they signed him to a 1 year, $15 million last December. The Tigers. He made the All-Star team, the AL. His numbers regressed in the last half, but finished with 16 homers, 74 RBIs, and a 7.45 OPS, which was a 108 OPS plus, just a tick over average. Numbers that are basically the same as 2024. So adding 7 million on top of that, I don't know. I think Clyburn, again, is another one that should just take this and run with it, unless he's offered a 3-year deal somewhere. But next is Edwin Diaz, relief pitcher. I believe he is the only relief pitcher given a qualifying offer. So surprising there. But the Mets need Diaz more than Diaz need the Mets. I think Diaz declines and goes somewhere else, even though he only had a 2.0 F4 season. He broke a record for deal as a relief pitcher with the 5-year, $102 million deal at the end of 2022. So this is it. He's gone through these numbers, opted out of his deal. Like I said, I think he believes he can get more money, which, I mean, he finished the year with a 1.63 ERA and more than 13 strikeouts per nine. Opting out was smart, and you could probably add on to that 5-year deal, maybe another 5 years, extend that deal and just call it a day. The Mets will pay. I mean, we know the Mets will pay. Next is Brandon Woodruff of the Brewers, another starting pitcher. This is a theme that you'll see recurring, obviously. 1.8 F4 for 2025, 3.2 ERA, and a 5.9 strikeouts per walk over 12 starts in the season, before he got shelved. So a little surprising that he'll be offered. He was offered the 22 million, but not surprised because the Brewers were the best team in baseball last year as far as record goes. So we all know pitching is the backbone of every team, and especially in your rotation. He did miss a lot of all 2024 and a little bit of 2025. So he had a right lat strain in September. Not a ton of starts. If I were Woodruff, I would take the QO, 22 million guaranteed. And the same for the next starting pitcher, Zach Gallen, 1.1 F4 in 2025, had his career worst season with a 4.83 ERA over 33 starts, which he averaged a 3.29 ERA over 2019 to 24, or 24. So 2019 to 2024, he had a 3.29 ERA. Was last year just a bump in the road? Maybe. Getting offered the 22 million, I would take that as Zach Gallen, but the starting pitcher free agency pool is going to be deep, but not quality this offseason. So Gallen could roll the dice and maybe get a decent deal worth a few years and, 80-ish, $75 million. Last on this list, last two on this list are surprisingly Shota Munetaka only had a 0.9 F4 season. The Cubs declined their 3-year, $57 million club option on the lefty, and he turned down his $15 million player option for next season. So he became a free agent. And the Cubs said, I think, oh shit. I didn't think he would turn out his option. This is their response. They said, okay, well, if you don't want 15, we'll offer 22. And again, you have to remember, if he turns down the qualifying offer, they get a pick from whoever signs him. I don't know why the Cubs declined their 3-year club option, but I mean, let's say extrapolate this qualifying offer to 3 years. That's $66 million that you're guaranteed. They had $57 million guaranteed. Only $9 million difference. I say only because all of these ball club owners are billionaires, or conglomerates and groups that are multi-billionaires, and $57 million for 3 years on this lefty, who is pretty good, I'll tell you. I don't think that was smart from an offensive perspective, but that's what they did. I think Shota leaves east side or south side, and goes to west coast. So last person, Michael King, another starting pitcher, another Padre, had a 0.8 F4 season, made the successful transition from full-time starting pitcher in 24, finishing 7th in NL Cy Young Award voting. He had a decent year last year, besides injuries, which cost him about half the season. So the Padres offering $22 million for 1 year is a safe bet for, I think, both sides. And I think Michael King should take the qualifying offer. Showed in 2026 that it was just a fluke this past season, getting hurt. Some surprising players who didn't get a QO. Another Padre, Luis Arias, Orioles pitcher Zach Eflin, Red Sox pitcher Lucas Giolito, and Mariners catcher Jorge Polanco, as well as Yankees relief pitcher Devin Williams. Those guys were up for qualifying offers, but did not get one. I understand for Eflin and Williams, maybe you don't want to commit $22 million to a relief pitcher, but Giolito, I think especially Arias and Polanco, 1 year, $22 million. What does it hurt? Unless you have someone else on your radar. But those are 13 people who were offered a QO. So, last thing for today, I know that was quite a long list. Huge news. Munetaka Murakami, third baseman / first baseman from the NPB, who has the single season home run record for a Japanese-born player, will be posted today, the 7th of November. He has 45 days to talk to teams and perhaps strike a deal. I believe he will strike a deal with someone before December 22nd at 4 p.m. Eastern. So look for a maybe Thanksgiving gift, late November, early December, or early Christmas gift. So I just want to say, over 8 seasons in the NPB, he has played 696 games as a third baseman and logged a lot of innings there. So when they say slash first baseman, he has only played 6 seasons and 263 games at first base. He has also played 1 game in the outfield. I think like 1 inning, literally, as an outfielder. That was just last season, actually. So the 2025 season. You can expect him to be signed as a third baseman, 100%. No doubt, third baseman / DH. That's my call on Murakami. So, Murakami, welcome to the U.S. I hope you're successful, and I hope that you do well at third base and as a designated hitter. That is all. Again, Instagram, like, say done, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please, and thank you. There will be another giveaway in December, in January, February, so on and so forth. And I'll have some signed baseballs. Chime off in comments. You want signed baseballs? I got game used baseballs. I have game used items. So yeah, chime off. Say I'm tired with cardboard, Randy. I want some leather. So just let me know. Chime off. All right. See you next week.